Hi, this is a video about coolant flow. In this video, I'll explain all the parts used in a cooling system and what could happen if one of those parts fail. So let's get started over here. So when you start your vehicle, your water pump right there starts to rotate. As it rotates, the impellers that are attached on the inside of it shoot coolant through the scrolls into the block and around your cylinders. From there, they go into your head and come out right here. So as you can see, they come out and they go through your heater hoses way back there to your heater core and come out and then go back in, and then they go straight back to your water pump through this water pump hose right here. Now, once your vehicle is at operating temperature, thermostat, which is right there on the outside of the block, opens up, which allows coolant to flow out of the head into the upper rad hose to your radiator, which cools it and sends it down to your lower rad hose, which allows cooled coolant to flow into the cycle. And once it goes through, it comes back out here into the top rad hose and back into the radiator to be cooled. The radiator cools it by allowing air to touch these fins from your grill, or from the lower part right there. So the cold air as you're driving hits the fins and cools it down, which in turn cools down the coolant. Now, if you were idling, then your fans right here, let me turn this around. So your cooling fans turn on if you're at idle. They turn on because of your thermal sensor, which is down there by your lower rad hose. Can't really see it from this angle, but it is what it is. So that's basically the flow of your cooling system. Now let's explain every part. Your water pump shoots the coolant. It may tend to leak, and that could cause a problem. There is a seal in there, and if that leaks, then you get low coolant and you need to replace that. Your thermostat is basically a regulator because it regulates how much cooled coolant can go into your engine. Now, if this was stuck closed, then it wouldn't allow cooled coolant into your engine, causing it to overheat, and that's not good. If it was stuck a little open, say it was stuck like a C hair, like that much or so, then it should be okay, just because there is not too much cooled coolant in there. It would still have enough to keep it cooler, and it should not overheat. Now, if it was stuck fully open, then your vehicle would not be able to remain operating temperature, and it would be too cold to run efficiently. So no fuel efficiency and so on. Now, leak points in this style vehicle are right here. So you got your upper rad hose clamp, your lower rad hose clamp, the clamp that goes right there. There's one on the bottom rad hose. You could have a leak that's right here. Your radiator cap could leak. And right up here, also, it tends to leak sometimes. Now, say your radiator was doing a bad job. Well, let's say it was not doing its job, and it was not cooling the coolant. That's where your fans come into play, and they turn on by the switch down there, and then they do their job to keep the coolant cooled. Now, your thermostat measures how hot the coolant or how cold the coolant is by this guy right there. That is your coolant temp sensor, and that sends a message telling it to either close or open. So for some reason, Volkswagen had decided to put in a plastic impeller in their water pump. And the issue with the plastic impeller is that after some time, it cracks right down the middle, splits apart, and then freewheels as you're driving. And it may work at lower RPMs, but once you get to highway speeds, it will not work, and it will cause your engine to overheat. So by jumping the relay, the fan turns on. Here is a picture of the plastic water pump still intact, and here's another one of it split into two pieces.